Welcome to What the F***, your cure for excessive happiness. Let's get a preview of tonight's show from Timothy Walton in our legal department. Timothy, what do we have in store for tonight's show?
Jim, tonight we learn that people are quick to judge and can even determine politics by body odor. Also, while religion does not make people better, smart teenagers do make people better.
Thank you very much, Timothy. We'll join you at the end of the show. Hey, they are as sexy as they are famous. Let's meet tonight's panel. In the far chair, she's so hot she melts the pavement every time she walks barefoot. It's Marcom specialist Teresa Condon. Asbestos boots, Teresa. Asbestos boots. In the middle chair, it's project manager Kate Swanson. She's so charming, she's convinced Vladimir Putin to only take half of the Ukraine. In between them, it's writer, actor, director, and the famous person you don't even know about. It's C.J. Silverman. If wit was therapy, crazy people would do him once a week. Finally, sitting next to me is attorney at law Mel Patterson. If wise legal advice was a bust, senior citizens would expect him to come every hour. Issue number 1. Is it a permanent lesson from a first impression? Psychologists have discovered that our brains automatically process a person's facial features with the first glance we have of them, helping us form snap judgments about them before consciously perceiving their appearance, which means we actually decide whether to trust someone else within a fraction of a second of meeting them. Subjects were tested using a backward masking technique, in which involves showing them an irrelevant mask before revealing the face for a few milliseconds. Despite the subconsciousness of the subject in the processing of the faces, their brains displayed similar levels of activities as those who were shown images for longer periods of time. I believe we have some of the test footage here. He made an impression on me. I don't know about the rest of you, but Teresa, snap judgments people make. Agree or disagree?
I can see you doing those kinds of faces in the mirror, Jim. Practicing that. You
notice that he does not look anything like me?
Okay, I don't know about that, but okay.
Oh, so all us Asian people look alike to you, is that it?
You said it. Well, I'm glad to know that there's a scientific reason why I am so judgmental about people, because it's true. So, and now there's a scientific reason for it. It's not just me. It's not a personality
Has that ever come
flaw.
to burn you in the past?
No, I'm always right.
You're always right?
I'm a woman, I'm always right.
So then I'm curious, what was your first impression when you met me? Oh, I'm bracing
I don't remember. I mean, that was a really long time ago. Let's not go into that. Next.
Oh, the alcohol hadn't worn off by that time? Okay. I told your boyfriend not to put the roofie in there, but that's just me. Hey, Kate, snap judgments. Agree or disagree?
I'm sure people make snap judgments.
Do you?
Yes.
All right, then.
I mean, sure.
All right, then. Okay, then. When you first met Mel, what was your first impression?
Friendly father.
Friendly father? Mm-hmm. Have you come to confirm or unconfirm that impression?
No, I just believe what I believe. You know, I just stick
despite
with
all other facts.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Friendly father. Yeah, that's what they call you down at the men's club. Is that right? Friendly daddy?
In jail.
In jail.
That's what they call me.
Oh, I thought they called you the front.
No, they, you know.
Oh, you're
and
the
after
back.
I'm done, I just say, "Who's your daddy now?"
And you're proud of it. Better to the pitcher than the catcher.
The facts remain. You know.
So, do you make snap judgments based on first impressions?
I think that people do make snap judgments based on first impressions. I'm not entirely convinced it has anything to do with faces, though. I think people make snap judgments about me when they find out I'm a lawyer, for example.
Right. But but when they first meet you, is that the first thing is that the first impression they get about you? Because you don't necessarily lead with, "Here comes the lawyer Mel," right? They see your face before you start talking to them.
Well, typically people come to see me for professional reasons. I'm not very social when it comes to meeting new people.
So when people first see you, they already have the preconception that you're a lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay, and when they see your face, what's their reaction?
To tell you the truth, I mean, you know, I'm not really sure.
Well, remember, this is a question of trustworthiness, right?
Yes,
so lawyers
I
aren't
understand.
people don't necessarily have a preconceived notion of trustworthiness of lawyers, do they, Mel?
No, they don't.
Well, they don't?
They don't. No.
So when they see your face, do they go, is that a trusting, friendly father figure, or is that the guy we know in prison?
They'll say that's the guy we saw in prison.
Okay, all right. and you're gonna get him off.
That's right.
One way or
the other.
CJ, snap judgments, first impression. What's your take?
Yeah, I think people do make snap judgments. I try to teach my students that you should never assume anything. So, you know, if somebody looks like they're completely nuts, they might be, but then again, they might be normal. What's normal? I mean, who knows?
So when you say they shouldn't assume anything, so like assume that they can't date you?
Well, that's always going to be a possibility, unless they're trigendered, which I haven't encountered yet. So.
You've tried every gender? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, not every gender, but at least the ones that are sort of questionable.
You've tried only the questionable genders? Wait a minute.
The ones without colons, mainly.
There are people who have no colons?
The ones I'm dating recently, apparently.
Okay, I'm trying to imagine that. So you're
Well, you're wrong. It's wrong species.
Oh, ooh, well, see, here I assume people, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's back to the whole dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
The pet story.
I have about a minute left in this segment. So if you do get the impression that people do make snap judgments on your initial appearance, does this make blind people the most open-minded people on the face of the planet? I'll just throw it out to the audience.
Well, it's hard to say because, you know, blind people have enhanced senses. So if they're picking up on smell and it's a cheating smell, if there could be one like that, then perhaps they're not going to trust you based on what they're inhaling.
They would hear inflections in your voice more than other people would.
You know, I heard that that's just a myth, that blind people don't have enhanced senses. It's just something that sighted people made up to make
them feel better.
Yeah, to make them feel better. Yeah.
But they still can use the dog, right?
Well, yeah.
Because the dog, the dog and the stick.
Unless the dog is sitting on CJ's face.
Oh, that's
then they'll need a stick.
CJ will be sniffing the dog.
That's right.
And the stick.
And the stick.
Well, the dog is making the judgment then.
The dog is making the judgment. A seeing-eye dog. So a prerequisite for a seeing-eye dog is a good temperament and the ability to judge other people.
Trustworthiness.
Okay, but if you don't let the dog sniff your crotch, then how's the dog making a judgment about you?
Well, as long as the dog isn't a lawyer.
Oh, okay. You wish then you were a dog, right, Mel?
I do a lot of crotch sniffing, so.
Really?
That's how he gets his clients.
That's right.
I'm gonna leave that segment, Mel. All right, hey, issue number 2. Will you be in the success herd if you hang out with the nerds? A new study of high school activities has a moral for incoming high school students. Play what the smart kids play. Joining an extracurricular team or club with members that get good grades can double a high school student's odds of going to college. Researchers at Brigham Young University, go Utes, spent 4 years looking at the records of 90,000 students and their friends. They found that the type of team or club doesn't really matter. It simply came down to being around classmates with high GPAs. For further comment, we turn to the Wismont Middle School Justin Bieber fan club. Girls, your comments? Yeah, they're all going to cosmetology school. Yeah, totally. All right, let's see here. Where are we? Hey, Kate, hanging out with nerds will get you into college. Agree or disagree?
I agree.
All right. Did you hang out with all the smart kids when you were in high school?
Yes, I did.
Did you go to college?
I did go to college.
Did you go to a good college?
I did go to a good college.
Okay, you have to define a good college.
I went to Harvey Mudd College.
Ah, the engineering school.
Yes.
The obscure engineering school that no one's ever heard of, right?
Yes. Where everybody's engineers.
The one named after the Star Trek character, right?
It's
Harry Mudd.
that's the one. Yeah, that's a different Mudd.
There you go.
I think it's a relative, though.
Okay. Hey, Teresa, what's your take as the person who's probably amongst the panel here closest to high school?
Well,
Yesterday.
when I was starting high school, someone gave me a very wise piece of advice, which is that you should be nice to nerds because you'll work for one someday. And especially in Silicon Valley, it's very true. So I was friends with a lot of the nerdy, smart kids in high school. I'm not sure how they let me into their group, but I did infiltrate it somehow. And I think it did help.
So
they are all very successful people.
You mean rip off their lunch money? Is that right?
Well, I mean, I actually worked in the cafeteria at school, so I'd like slip them food.
Oh, you'd slip them. Is that why they all turned
How
out
I'd ingratiate myself with them. But they're all very successful people now. So.
And they're sharing it with you, right?
I hope someday.
Okay.
I'm trying to stay in their good graces.
Okay. They're still friends with you on Facebook and LinkedIn?
That's a real friendship. What are you saying?
Okay. Well,
that's
are they?
A legit friendship. Yes, they are.
Okay. Well, that was the question. I don't know about the legitimacy of Facebook friends, but hey, CJ, you do teach students. Would you agree with this concept, or would you contest this concept?
You know, Dale Carnegie said we become what we think about most of the time. So it's obvious that if we surround ourselves with people that are smarter than us, then we'll raise to their level. So I do think that there is some import and some value to what you're saying. I haven't done any testing or experimentation. I do know the jocks tend to stay, kind of in the lower echelon of humanity.
Well,
at least intellectually.
So wait a minute. So you become what you think of most of the time. What do you think of most of the time?
Right now?
Yes.
Having one of those donuts in the green room.
Oh, okay. So a cop.
Well, at least as far as my eating habits are concerned, but as far as justice is concerned, I'd probably be right behind Mel over there in prison. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, speaking of which, Mel, since I have a minute left, I'll try to give you the last word. You buying this hanging around with nerds thing, or do you think this is just a scam by scientists who want to get even with the jocks?
It's a scam. It's a scam. I hung when I was in high school decades ago. I hung out with smart kids, and they're still smarter than me.
Right, but did you manage to go to college?
Eventually.
You went to law school, right?
Eventually.
And managed to avoid going to prison. Recently.
Recently. Caveat.
Yes.
Right? So, right? So are you prove the rule, or the exception that proves the rule, or just the exception to the rule?
I'm probably just the exception to the rule. I really don't think that smarts are contagious.
Okay. Well, then you go keep telling yourself that. On to our first break. And the lab results were negative. Oh, yeah, we're back. Hey, issue number 3. If you are pious, are you more righteous? A study published in the journal Science has concluded that religious people are no more likely to do good than their non-religious counterparts. Researchers asked 1,252 adults of different religious and political backgrounds to record the good and bad deeds they committed, witnessed, learned about, or were the target of. They found that religious and non-religious people commit similar numbers of moral acts. And regardless of their political or religious leanings, participants were all found to be more likely to report committing or being the target of a moral act rather than an immoral act. They were also more likely to report having heard about immoral acts. Then they all saw this.
People would just realize.
Wow, when he does that healing thing, that lightsaber, who knew the lightsaber healed rather than cut you in half? But hey, Mel, religious people just as moral as non-religious people. You agree or disagree with that?
Disagree. Anybody who's seen anything having to do with ISIS or the Catholic Church or any number of other religions can tell you that religion doesn't make you more moral. Are you kidding me?
So you agree that religious people are no more moral or immoral than
Yes.
non-religious people? Okay,
Yes.
because maybe I gave you that double negative.
Yeah, you did. Well, okay, but go on.
But even so basically it's the same to you. So like the communists are no different. They're communists for non-religious people, right?
Right.
But they killed people in the millions, right?
Correct.
Right. But then we've had religious wars since the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of time.
Now you listed your religious affiliation as Jedi Knight. So
Correct.
does that have any bearing on your answer?
You saw the video right there.
No, I thought that was just light shows and religious hokum.
Oh no.
So the lightsaber was real.
The lightsaber was real. Are you
Okay.
kidding?
You believe in the Force?
Of course.
Okay. All right. And does that make you moral?
No.
That doesn't make you moral.
No.
You're more of the dark side kind of guy.
I'm more of a dark side kind of guy.
All right. Okay. Okay, Teresa, what's your take on this as a practicing Scientologist?
Oh, I was going to say, I recently switched from Scientology into being a Jedi Knight as well. I recently joined the Order, so I'm glad to know there's another one of us here.
Right.
I also agree with that. I grew up in a Catholic community, and there's a lot of very nice people there, but there are also some that, it's more in name only. So I agree that, I agree.
So if it's not religion that
make a big
keeps you
difference.
moral, what keeps you moral? What keeps you
conscience.
from killing and stealing and raping and killing and all sorts
me
of stuff?
personally?
Yeah. Or am I just assuming
Conscience
facts?
in general. Yeah, I mean, don't assume too much. You don't know me all that well, but it's a conscience, right? Everybody has a conscience. Most people do.
Part of the dark side if that happened.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so where then does the parameters of your conscience come from, if not from faith?
This is a very deep question, Jim.
Or is it just the fear of being thrown in prison and being in prison with Mel?
Yeah, it does. That thought does freak me out a bit. So yeah, as
Okay.
long as
Because
Big
if the
Brother
feminists
isn't
get their
watching,
way, we're going to have
anything
co-ed
can
prisons
go.
before we know it. So
Mel is the new orange.
Meryl.
That's right.
All right. Okay. So CJ, what's your take?
So I guess it defines my own position on this to say that baseball is my religion,
Right.
or was until the A's traded Cespedes. But
Okay.
let's not go there.
And then you converted to an Angels fan. Right?
Well, no, let's not go there.
Okay.
Maybe more of a giant. At least I'm staying within the Bay Area scope of my religious practices and watching people on the San Francisco side of the Bay play ball.
I find your lack of faith troubling.
It can be, and that's why I'm redefining myself as no longer religious. So,
Right.
it does depend on how you define being religious. In other words, if I'm driving out of my synagogue and some old lady tries to run me over and she's just spent 3 hours praying to God, is she religious?
But okay, all right. All right, I'll take that. Kate, I'll give you the last word since we burned through the segment like nothing.
Yeah, I think it's not religion that makes you do good things. It's
Or is it your religion that defines your morality? Therefore, whatever your religion is, you're going to define yourself as being moral throughout the entire time. That's my take on it. What's your
yeah, probably. Most people think they're moral and good.
Right. Even if you're killing someone, I'm being very moral about this.
They
right?
believe in it.
Depends who you're
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, it's a subjective. All right. Hey, issue number 4. Do scientists think that politics stink? Yeah, I should read that. According to a study published in the American Journal of Political Science, I, by the way, love their centerfold of Kristen Gillibrand, people can literally sniff out ideology, which may explain why so many couples share political beliefs. Researchers from Brown University found that a small but significant degree of people prefer the body odor of those who vote as they do. Participants were given underarm pads for a day and refrained from anything that would give them an odor. They then returned the stinky pads to researchers who had another group of subjects sniff the pads and rate the attractiveness of the smell. I believe we have some of the research footage here.
Got a tick.
Oh, he sniffed. See, that's what happens when you sniff the underarm pad of an Occupy protester, is what I'm telling you.
Like Joe Biden.
They're pretty much. Anyway, let's see here. All right, who should I go to first? Hey, CJ, people can smell your political beliefs. Are you buying this?
A little bit. Now let's take a look at our current commander-in-chief.
Right.
The people that smelled him must have been smelling patchouli because they had to have been high when they voted for him.
Really?
We can tell that he stinks now.
But see, most of the people that voted for him probably didn't smell him, right? They only saw him on TV or read about him in newspapers, right?
Yeah, that could be true, but you know those scratch and sniff things in the Democratic publications, that's probably went a long way. That's how they got their man behind the seat.
Democrats distribute scratch and sniff pamphlets to their voters.
Clearly.
You're just hearing about that now?
Yeah, okay. So well, you're thinking that liberals smell like patchouli?
Yeah.
And pretense?
Most of the liberals I know.
Okay. And what do conservatives smell like?
They smell like tonic.
Tonic?
Either gin and tonic or just tonic by itself.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So, Kate, what's your take on this?
I find it almost impossible to believe.
Okay. Well, let's see. You're happily married, correct?
Yes.
At least that's what you're going to tell your lawyers. Do you like the smell of your husband sans artificial odor?
Yes.
Do you and your husband share the same political beliefs?
Yeah, we do.
You say that with emphatic conviction.
Well, yes, we do. I believe you're leading me down to saying I do believe this, but I'm
You're skeptical.
I'm very skeptical.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. I'll take your word for it. Mel, what's your take?
I'm not really going for this. I mean, I just don't think that conservative people or liberal people have distinctive smells.
Okay. But do you think that people will pick let's broaden it out a little bit. Do you think people will pick compatible mates based on their smell?
No.
Right? Because your wife, you have a wife, right?
Yes.
Do you like her smell?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, right? Does that prove or disprove the theory to you, or it just doesn't do anything for you?
It doesn't. I mean, she's a Democrat. I'm a Republican. I mean,
Right.
We have completely different beliefs.
But you like the way she smells. Sans odor. Odor altering substances.
sans odor.
Like deodorant, soap, garlic, flatulence.
Yeah, but maybe
garlic is one of those things that she's always going to smell like.
So is garlic the garlic nature's spin doctor?
Yeah.
I think maybe your political belief is not the main component of your smell.
Oh, it could be, but it might be indicative. Teresa, what's your take on this?
I don't really believe it either. I don't know. This study is clearly not having a lot of support. I mean, maybe we're all wrong, but I don't think that people from different political views have different smells. I do agree, though, that your compatibility with people largely depends on their smell, whether you're aware of it or not. I do agree with that.
Okay. So do you sniff your boyfriends?
When they're not looking.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Is that weird?
Is that, it might be, but okay.
Back to the whole pet concept again.
Right.
Yes. Well, she does it herself. She doesn't have a dog do it for her, right? Is that right?
Right.
Okay. Do I really want to ask where you sniff them? No, I don't. I don't want to ask them. I'll just leave the segment at that. Hey,
Photos.
on to our second break. And we are back from our second break. Hey, if you want to ever send us questions, comments, or snide remarks, please feel free to email us or send us a comment on Twitter. Our email address and Twitter information is somewhere below here on the third screen, hiding my cup, as they say. But anyways, we are on to the final segment of the show. This is the fact-checking segment. This is where we learn where we went wrong during the course of the show. And for that, we rejoin Timothy Walton in our legal department. Hey, Timothy, how did we do on tonight's show?
Well, actually, Jim, for the most part, people were fairly accurate. However, I do think it's clear that from now on, we need a panel of smart teenagers.
There is an order from the police department that prevents me from having that.
Aha. Maybe you should talk to Mel about that.
Yeah, he has a way of doing that.
I do need to point out, Teresa, you are not always right, and you do remember your first impression of Jim. You just don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that we have enough bleeping in the tone to cover all that. But, yeah.
CJ, there is a new gender to try.
What is
You have
it?
to sniff Mel's crotch.
Can you repeat that again, Timothy?
No.
Okay.
Jim, I need to point out that Harvey Mudd has an excellent reputation.
I did not contest
Denigrating
it.
a major college on community access television is not the way to get this show picked up by a network.
Oh, well, true. I just thought it was the guy that brought the tribbles on board Star Trek.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Harvey Mudd, the guy that got on the tribbles on Star Trek, right?
That was Harry Mudd.
Harry Mudd, Harvey, Harry, yeah, they're all like.
Oh, mud to me.
Also, I want to point out that there is a new study published by the journal Religion, which found that science doesn't make people smarter.
Well, I didn't do very well in science classes, so, you know.
Clearly.
You have to wonder about these studies, though, huh?
No, I use them for entertainment purposes only. And
You're all wrong about the study about the odor of politics.
well, how so?
Armpit pads will be handed out after the show.
What pads will be handed out?
Armpit pads.
How? Oh, that's, well, you know, something that soaks up the sweat is probably a good thing. Are they antiperspirant or deodorant?
Neither.
Oh.
They're designed. You don't understand how this study works, do you?
Oh, I'm going to be in the study. Oh, I was hoping to be in another study, but, you know, besides one.
CJ, the religion of baseball is less moral than other religions because it encourages stealing bases.
Oh, that's good.
Consider becoming a Jedi.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
join
think
the
about
club.
Also, CJ, patchouli does not make you high.
That's true.
That's true.
1 minute, Timothy, but the smell of pretense kind of does make you a little
Yeah, a
irritable.
little.
We got a minute left, Timothy.
Now everybody knows you're a lawyer, even blind people. It won't do any good to change that jacket you're wearing.
Okay.
Also, Jim,
Yeah,
it was not the communists that killed all those people.
it
was
wasn't.
the dictator's henchmen.
Oh
right?
yeah, sure. Okay, that's a fine distinction that I completely disregarded and still disregard. Still disregard.
Well, it'd be like blaming the Catholics for the actions of a 16th century pope.
Nah, I'm not buying that. Not buying it.
You're not buying. You just wanted to be able to say that. You went the whole show without asking, "Are you buying this?" So you say it.
Oh, did I? I thought I said it earlier on, but yeah, could be. Yeah, are you buying that, Timothy? Okay. Oh, we're at the end of the show. Sorry about that, Timothy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to the panel, crew. Thanks for watching. Later.